Very good morning to everyone. In this lecture, EC 8791 Embedded and Real Time System, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, 7th semester. In previous session, we are discussing the ARM processors and peripherals and what are the different type of architectures in ARM embedded system, and what are the category of instruction set, and also the what are the family of peripherals, and also the module of the timer unit and the pulse with the module, and also the ARM 9 and Cortex M3 microcontroller units. So many peripherals are discussed in previous session. Now today we are going to discuss the unit 3 embedded programming. So the program validation and testing. So the embedded system, that is a different mode of, that is are different models of program. So in each program can be assembled and linked and loading the architectures level in the different registers. So it can be executed and supported to the nearby the software and also the hardware implementations. Now today we are going to discuss the program validation and testing. The definition of the validation and the testing, there are the numbers definition of verification and validation. We present two well-known definition as IEEE standard definition, and one giving the very bone and old but very important definition with the software engineering community. According to the IEEE, one verification can mean it act as a reviewing, inspecting and texting and checking, auditing or otherwise establishing and documenting whether the items, process and service or documentation conform to specified requirements. So the process of determining whether the product of given phase of software development cycle fulfill the requirement established during the previous phases, and the formal proof of program correctness validation is defined as the evaluation of the software at the end of the software development process to ensure it complies with the user requirement. So the validation is therefore the end-to-end verification. What is the definition of error and fault and failures? A distinction has to be made between the terms that have a host of definitions which can be lead to confuse about their meaning. This reference in particular to the difference between the error, fault and failure, and IEEE 3, it makes the following difference. First one is a error. The people may error when they reason incorrectly to try to solve a problem. And what is the fault? An error become a fault when it is written in any of the developing software product. And also what is the evaluation and prevention? It conceived as a preserve the four the actions for producting quality system can be generally divided in two groups, that is a preventive and corrective. So the main difference between the two is the preventive and correction defined a series of activities to be performed by a priority, that is during the software construction, to ensure that the product output is not of poor quality, whereas the corrective actions take place as a posterior, that is once the software product has been constructed, when it is quality is evaluated. In this case, if the value of the software output is lower than the desired improvement to the software product or the software construction process are proposed, The prevention action include the software development, good practice guidelines, corrective actions encompass the activity of proper software evaluation. Next, the quality attributes. The quality is very broad concept. Therefore, the best way to deal with it by subdividing into the sub concept, which are named quality attributes or criteria. Currently they are not a universal accepted set of quality attributes for the software system. However, one of the most popular is the one proposed by ISO as the 7 table 1 shows the set. The rest of this section review many of the technique. The evaluate each of the attributes that appear the table 1. The title of the following session, there is a name from the quality attribute that evaluate and under are the name of the technique that evaluate them. So the fault and detection technique, there is a functionality validation. The product obtained during the software development can be evaluated according to different strategies. Two different strategies. There is a static analysis and also the dynamic analysis testing. These two strategies are often confused and both are mistakenly grouped under the term testing. However, there are the significant difference between the static and dynamic analysis of the product. The difference between the two strategies is best understood by making a distinction between the aspect of software product to be evaluated. So, what is the testing techniques? The testing technique, it is a first test planning. The purpose of this activity is to be identified the characteristics or quality attributes of software to be tested. The irregular with which these are the tested and any characteristics not to be tested, and the software elements that are to be tested. Also resources, that is a personal tools, personally and tools etc. will be allocated to each of the tasks to be performed, and the testing technique to be used with the will be selected. Then the designed testing design for each test identified in the above activity. The selected testing technique will be applied and generated test cases will be identified. So the test case specifications for each generated test case, the elements is affect must be identified and both of the input required to execute the test case and the expected output and the resources it required to run the test cases must be specified. It also the test cases will be ordered depending on how they are to be executed. So in this session, we are discussing the validation and functionality of the fault detection and identification in embedded system design. Thank you for watching this video.